This is Grumpy Whiskers, a game of Smog and Shadows, the official music video, a Celtic steampunk fantasy. I do have a small cameo in it. Total transparency, I will say that it is a villainous role, but I was asked ahead of time if that was okay, and I was like, yeah, that's more than fine with me. I don't mind being a villain as long as it's a villain of I'll say miscommunication, and I think the way it's presented here it is very well. A good way of what I would describe as a villain of miscommunication is somebody like, it's going to sound really bad, but somebody like Knuckles from like the original Sonic 3, where originally everyone thought he was a bad guy because he would beat up on Sonic, and then it's like, oh no, he was just misinformed, type of thing. Leaflit reacted to this, it's impeccable. Oh yeah. I'm sure it is. Grumpy Whiskers is a good friend of mine, and he does fantastic work. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. First and foremost, I will let the whole thing play out pretty much uninterrupted. If something really does catch my eye, I'll ooh and ah and maybe make a little comment, but I try to refrain from commenting too heavily until the very end. So, without further ado, and also guys, you're free to let me know if the audio levels are off, because I need help with that. All right, let's get into it.
Smog-choked spires, where the steam never dries, a new face arrives with a spark in her eyes. Gears turn on prayers, and the ether starts to rust. Tinkering her gold with blueprints in her hand, but shadows coil tighter than an hourglass sand. The city whispers secrets through pipes of rusted bone, where magic leaks like oil and nightmares claim their throne. The wheels keep on turning, the valves start to scream. Something ancient is waking from its mechanical dream. Beware, young blood in the city of steam, where magic meets shadows, seal and machine. Be wary the nightmares that spawn from the greed that festers and swells in the souls that exceed. One spark too bright, one deal sealed in blood, and the brass veil tears wide. Welcome to the flood. Shadows are calling from the smog and the gear. Run if you can, or conquer your fear. She followed the flicker of a lantern held tight, past figures in velvet who gave her a fright. A shadow with tail that danced through the haze, a cutlass that sang in the fog-shrouded maze. A rogue in the rafters, a noble ember.
Hello, Rhino.
Each one a thread in the tapestry of the game. The machine started humming a tune she once knew, but now it was twisted, and the tune followed you. Beware, young blood in the city of steam, where magic meets shadows, seal and machine. Be wary the nightmares that spawn from the greed that festers and swells in the souls that childish game. Beware, young blood. Beware, young blood. Beware, young blood. Beware, young blood. In the city of steam, where magic meets shadows, seal and machine. Be wary the nightmares that spawn from the greed that festers and swells in the souls that exceed. The brass veil is tearing, the embers ignite. One wrong step deeper and you feed the night. The nightmare is calling from the smog and the gear. If you play its game, you lose all you hold dear. You lose all you hold dear.
And of course, the Easter egg at the end. We all know what this leads into.
Need a ride?
That was awesome. That's awesome. All right, now I'm going to go back. I will say, for the sake of argument, I hadn't seen it, but I did know that I played a villainous role in it. Grumpy had asked me ahead of time if that was fine. I was like, yeah, I don't mind. As long as it's nothing like malicious, because ultimately I consider everybody a friend. And he kind of told me more or less what he had planned, and I was like, I kind of like that. Kind of like a mentor or mastermind type character that's yes, they're antagonistic, at least initially, towards the main character, in this case, Leaflit, but ultimately they're trying to like train her or to refine her to become a stronger individual. And I was like, I can respect that. I kind of like the way that's personified. So now we're going to go through it a little bit, and if anything stood out to me, I'll try to stop and comment and give my 2 cents. Which right away, I'll just say visually, I love the visuals very much so. Have you seen Nightway's, Octo, and Don Halo's collaboration video? It's awesome. No, not yet. If you guys do have anything you'd like me to react to, you guys are welcome to drop it on the Discord. We have an area which is, let me bring it up real quick. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. There we go. Videos to react to on stream, which aren't just in regards to myself, they're in regards to like all the talents that we have with Nocturne. So, you know, that's where we got him there. The chat's just enjoying the games. Yeah, exactly. That's what I liked about it. I was like, I don't see it as the characters necessarily evil. I mean, even though like, yeah, ultimately it was a villain in this case, but it's more of like a necessary evil, because it's like if you don't have something to test you and kind of like push you to that limit, it can be very like how can somebody grow? In this case, you know, thematically, you see Leaflet as a character grow, which I'll also just say completely unrelated. Grumpy, you need to turn this into like a D&D setting or something, or maybe like a Lyrian Angel Sword setting or supplement, because there's a lot of thought and detail that went in here, and I dig it. And of course, right away, anything with violin really gets me going. I really enjoy violin. There's a band called the Crew Shadows, which they're kind of like, I guess, a gothic kind of like industrial band, and their main instrument is the violin. I wish I could play some of their music because I really dig their vibe and aesthetic, but anything with a violin, really like it.
In the smog-choked spires, where the steam never
Got a link for the band. If you just, let me see if I can type it real quick. They're like an older band, I'm going to be honest. They're nothing like new, nothing current. But they are a band called True Shadows, or Crux Shadows, depending. Let me get that up right here. There we go. If you just Google for them, they're probably going to pop up right away, or on YouTube as well. But yeah, they're called the Crew Shadows. Anyways, I digress.
Rise. A new face arrives.
I really like, obviously, the steampunk aesthetic, the Victorian aesthetic. It reminds me of a game called Victoriana, which is a tabletop setting that I really like. And this is giving me big Victoriana vibes, which is a good thing. I absolutely love like steampunk. If you guys ever played Arcanum, like a really old game, loved Arcanum too. Big vibes of that.
With a spark in her eyes.
I love to see Keen, my boy Keen. He's actually taking some time off, if I understood his post correctly. So hopefully he'll come back rejuvenated, ready to make more content. I like the way that Sky is kind of like personified here. I mean, not just, you know, aesthetically, because it looks cool and it kind of fits his aesthetic, but if I have any complaint at all, it's I don't think, and you guys are free to correct me, we didn't see Sky do anything else in this video. And you know what I think would have really been a nice twist, maybe this is something they're working towards later, is if Sky would have been the opposite person that I was playing chess against, you know, kind of like the good mastermind versus the, not necessarily evil mastermind, but the antagonist mastermind. I thought that would have been a fantastic just like play on it, for no other reason than the fact that generally when people play chess, I mean, this is drawing a lot from like Vampire the Masquerade lore, which I've been reading those books a lot because I'm going to be running a game next month. Anyways, generally you have two elder or veteran characters that know each other very well and respect each other, but more importantly, they play a giant game of chess, so to speak, using people as pawns or pieces on the board. And I don't know, that would have been an interesting twist. I mean, I'm not saying by any means I'm at the same levels of Sky. Not at all, not at all. But it would have been a nice twist to see him utilized somewhere else, because I think this design just looks fantastic. Of course, Night Owl, I believe. Love to see Night Owl. He needs a jelly hat though, right, Chad? He needs a jelly hat right there.
She stepped from the dirigible.
Kudos on using a dirigible in a lyric and making it not seem out of place. So that was impressive to me.
Into streets of brass and rust, where gears turn on.
Banana Juju and Powder, which actually they look really good in this style.
And the ether starts to rust. Tinkering her
I believe that is Null FM. I still need to get around to watch the videos. Null, I'm sorry. I'm just incredibly busy and bad at time management. Okay, I'm bad at time management when I'm off the clock. When I'm on the clock, I'm very like boom, 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 like bullets.
with blueprints in her hand, shadows coil tighter than an hourglass. And
Griff, love to see Griffin Knight.
the city whispers secrets through pipes of rusted bone, where magic leaks like oil and nightmares claim their throne. The wheels keep on turning, the valves start to scream. Something ancient is waking from.
I think I could be mistaken because I didn't talk to Grumpy about this, but I think this is supposed to be a steampunk variation of Roboticus, if I'm not mistaken, Roboticus Prime. Because if so, that's fantastic. I like the way he came out, I like the way he played. And I also like the fact that all of us that were villains with air quotes we're defeated in a way that doesn't necessarily destroy us, and that's major kudos for me.
Its mechanical dream. Beware, young blood in the
I believe this is Miss Penny Bloomfield. I recently found her content. I'm slowly consuming it. I will say I like her content a lot, but I find it difficult to react to. Not because of anything specifically, it's just I share a lot of the same opinion she does. So I'm kind of like, well, I'm just going to be agreeing with her the whole video. But who knows, maybe we'll find something to disagree over, respectfully, of course.
city of steam where magic meets shadows.
Lynx.
Machine, beware.
Lynx and Kersha. Very nice. Cultists lurk in the shadows. The end is nigh.
Bury the nightmares that spawn from the greed that festers and swells in the souls that exceed one's.
And I really like the introduction here as far as the chessboard or the game board and Leaflit being put into play, as it were, by, I assume that's my glove. If it's not my glove, well then, I want to know who I'm playing against.
Too bright, one deal sealed in blood, and the brass veil tears wide.
I also really like the concept of a machine god for multiple reasons. There's a game called Fear and Hunger, and in Fear and Hunger, humans actually, specifically Fear and Hunger 2, they create a new god called Logic, which basically thinks and acts and basically does everything for them. And basically it creates the internet of the world of Fear and Hunger. But there's also another book setting called the Machine God Chronicles, which I really dig. I really like that concept, which not a lot of people do like. I happen to love it, but anyways, I like this aesthetically because it reminds me of that, because usually it's not a good thing.
Welcome to the flood. Shadows are calling from the smog and the gear. Run if you can, or conquer your fear.
Of course, Leaflit and Feeble. I'm almost surprised he's not a seal in this one. Yeah, I think I had said that earlier. It really has like Arcanum vibes to it. Arcanum and Victoriana, which is another setting that I liked as well.
Follow the flicker of a lantern held tight.
I do like, they did one thing here that I really like, which is high fantasy, which is instead of having torches, they have glowing crystals that kind of like generate or reverberate the light depending on frequency and so forth. I really like that. Just aesthetically, it's so much more, I guess I'll say, advanced than just a torch, but without breaking the established fantasy tropes. So yeah, I dig it.
Past figures in velvet who gave her a fright. A shadow with tail.
The only thing, let me go back a little bit. I just saw it. I don't know if you, I'm really sorry to nitpick, but this stuck out to me like a sore thumb.
Follow the flicker of a lantern held tight. Past figures in.
Right here, she's supposed to be sneaking in the door, but her hand is kind of clipping through the door. And she's also on the wrong side of the door. I don't fault, of course, Grumpy for that. When it comes to, you know, any sort of prompting, you know, it's a pain in the ass, especially when you're running low on generations and it's just not working with you. But, you know, once again, minor nitpick.
Velvet who gave her a fright. A shadow with tail that danced through the haze. A cutlass that sang in the fog-shrouded maze. A rogue in the rafters, a noble ember flame. Each one a thread in the.
I like the inclusion of Ember. I just don't know why she's a bunny girl. Did she have a bunny costume recently that I'm not aware of? I don't mind. I just like, if they just made her a bunny for aesthetics, I mean, that's cool too. I totally dig that, which, you know, I give people full permission by proxy in regards to myself. If you ever want to use me for anything, like, you don't have to stay 100% like canonical to my costume, my outfit. I think actually recently, Sudo was telling me I got added to the, was it the Skydex? I was like, yay, I'm official. But if anybody needs it, like I'll be happy to send you like my reference art so you can use it as you need to. Oh, it's for Easter. Okay. Thank you. Credits. Thank you.
Tapestry of the game. The machine started humming a tune she once knew, but now
The guy up top was Fushizi. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I think that's the problem, and I say problem with air quotes, with using us in like outfits that are outside of what we normally have. It's because it can be difficult to like 100% nail down who they are. Like this person, I recognize him, or at least I think I recognize him, but there's also two other people I think he could be. Unless it's just a random no name. I mean, in that case, I'll feel like a jackass. But I'm not 100% certain who he is.
And the tune followed you. Beware, young blood.
I do like the way a Lady Wasabi is put into play, like as the kind of like steampunk sniper. I like that. Yeah, I think this one kind of came out the way that the original one was intended to come out. So this one came out very, very good. Hey, and it's 2 credits. I believe this is you, because the credits fit the mark. And Vesper, I love to see Vesper. I'm almost surprised Vesper wasn't a villain alongside us. You know, because you know, she's a demon, a devil. Not that I'm complaining. I believe Gaming Syndicate. Silas, I believe. That was a great way to have him. Yeah, it was a great way to have him. Yeah, I definitely think that's a steampunk Roboticus, and if it's not, then I'll well, I mean, I'll apologize, but that's what it reminds me of, and I dig it. I also like more the fact that they bring him to life as a sense of like having some control over their creation, and he just completely like goes nuts, kind of like you know, like King Kong and in the city type of thing, and I like that a lot.
Of kings turns living steel into terrible things. What once was a wonder now births only fright. In the heart of the spire where the day turns to night, she came here to craft, to learn and gain.
Hey, Lord Intellectual. Roboticus Prime Evil, an alt evil version. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Fame, but
Often. I actually really like this outfit on her. Looks really nice.
was dragged into the chess master's game.
I believe this is Annibot, unless I'm mistaken. Which, once again, I really like her steampunk variation. That was kind of a rough cut there. Not to nitpick, of course, but that's what I do. Because you see them clashing, it looks really fluid, and then it just kind of suddenly jump cuts. Yeah. I think maybe that could have been covered up a little bit more, I don't know what you're using to like edit, Grumpy, but like maybe a little bit of tip, like for future things, like if you're gonna have a clash like this, you can put in a lens flare or a spark that covers the screen, and I think that will more easily hide like a rough transition like this. So, you know, like right before they make that big clash as it's coming down here, put in that lens flare kind of like upwards, like sparking up, and that will cover that rough transition. So. Yeah, so not trying to nitpick, just trying to give constructive criticism. Love you guys. So that's all that would have happened. I could have easily like masked that. It would have it's a trick of the eye. I learned little things like this when I was in broadcasting. Ha. I think that's Bupella, or it's supposed to be a nod to Bupella. Once again, I really like the steampunk outfits. Anything with corset and gears and necessary like buckles and straps, I'm here for it. That's a really good scene. I'd really like that. Because you have the release of energy paired with the other energy, and at least from my perspective, it would kind of like overload the circuit. Or maybe the steam chamber, whatever they're using for magical energy. And the collapsing afterwards, I really dig, because there's a lot of games, Mage the Ascension included, where you can cast with like mana or quintessence or whatever the energy source is, but if you start running low on it, you can kind of tap into your own vigor or life force to kind of supplement a spell to make it more powerful. And I don't think that was the direct intention here, but I definitely like universes that have a I guess I'll see like a sacrifice for performing magic or something that of an extra natural, supernatural kind of feat. In this case, I would say this is like magic that's being channeled through a steampunk focus. That OG, yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm glad somebody understood. I was really trying to dumb it down, but I thought I made it worse. The OG spell fatigue, yes. Yeah, that's my little cameo. I was really proud and humbled to be a part of it.
Hey, bud. Need a ride?
And of course, I think this ties like directly into Vesper's video, which I will also be reacting to. Yeah. No, but this is great. Really liked it. I'm already subscribed to Grumpy Whiskers, of course. I already liked the video because friend of mine, but yeah, definitely go check it out. I will be sharing the link after the fact.